welcome everybody to another episode of Off the Ropes with John and Josh. I am Josh.
And you might recognize me from such films as Chocolat, Crybaby, The Legend of the Lone Ranger, and a few other things, because I am Johnny Depp. I have a jar of dirt.
Well, I hope that dirt tastes good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Off the Ropes, though. This is episode 11.
That's
and
right.
Today,
you may be thinking, didn't I just watch an episode? Well, you're watching another one.
Well, this is the thing. So you people got to realize, when we record, Mr. Guy over there has so many podcasts going that sometimes it takes a couple days to get one edited and pumped out. But then, like, this weekend, there were 2 pay-per-views back-to-back. So we had to do some reviews because you people gots to know.
Gots to know. And we had to get all that news out on the weekend.
Oh my God, yeah, there was a lot of news. So there's not as much news today. We can fold most of it into what we're going to talk about anyway. And today, we're going to be talking about Slammiversary 2020 and the horror show at Extreme Rules.
All right. I'm interested to see here. I really didn't do much of the Slam. So Slammiversary is really going to be all on you. I'm just put that out there.
Slammiversary is going to be me.
But something I did watch was Undertaker: The Last Ride, Tales from the Dead Man. That's right, folks.
Like this?
I thought it was actually really cool. I'll be honest, I was a little worried because we got this big long 5-part documentary. I was like, that thing was fucking amazing.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, well, here's another thing. It's like, okay. And it was only 25 minutes long, and I'm getting flashbacks of Sting the Lost Tape. I'm just like, oh man, this is gonna not be good, right? Well, but I actually really liked it.
See, I was on the same ropes as you. Like, when you told me it was there, and I'm like, what? I was like, well, I'm obviously gonna have to watch it so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I go to hit the button, and I'm like, what if this is the Sting video all over again? Like, we got that great 5-part documentary, and now all of a sudden it's like, hey, by the way, here's these tales from The Undertaker, and it's literally him just like, yeah, I tombstoned this guy once. But it's not.
I mean, kind of awesome.
I mean, it would be. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to spoil anything about the tales. I recommend you go on the WWE network and watch it.
I mean,
if you don't have the network,
I don't want to spoil, but essentially what it is, it's funny side stories from his career.
Yes. I mean, great side stories. You hear a couple about Yokozuna, some brother love stuff, some traveling on the road. So I mean,
yeah, some of it seemed like it might have been like deleted scenes from the documentary. I think he was wearing the same outfit.
Yeah, definitely.
And then some of it he was in something different. So it seems like they're filming newer stuff. And he talks about like the Bone Street Crew, which I thought was cool. So I don't want to get into too much detail, but and they did tease the possibility of more of these, which
I would be okay with that.
There were some really funny, interesting stories. I feel like there was like maybe 6 or so, which it's only, like I said, 25 minutes, but a decent amount of stories in there.
Oh yeah,
and they all were entertaining to sit there and watch. I was like, I would sit there for 2 hours listening to this guy tell stories. I really would, man. It was a good time. I really enjoyed it. So I hope they do more of these, personally.
I would agree. I would totally agree.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to let you take over, talk a little bit about Impact Wrestling's Slammiversary.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I know Josh isn't big into TNA. So I'm gonna do a rundown. I'm going to talk about some of the stuff. I've got all the matches here. I'm going to get Josh's input on some of it, even though I know he doesn't really care about TNA. To him, this is the redheaded stepchild of professional wrestling, and I understand that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Slammiversary 2020 kicked off with a open challenge from the Radicals tag team. Or not the Radicals. I'm sorry, they're not the Radicals. They're the Rascals, and they opened a challenge to anybody. And it was answered by none other than the return of the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, I know Josh, he was super excited to hear that Motor City Machine Guns had made a huge return.
Yeah, buddy. And we talked about that a little bit.
We did, and this is one of those things
that
where
was
Josh and
dropping.
I,
That was dropping while we were recording the last episode.
yes, and that's one of those things where Josh and I talked about this in return of we knew Slammiversary had to pull out all the stops to compete with everything WWE's been doing lately, as well as TNA and
AEW.
Sorry, yes, AEW. I'm a little scatterbrained. I don't get to run the show, people. He's letting me have the reins. God, this is what happens every time he gives me control. I screw up. All right. So, there was a lot of back and forth. Motor City Machine Guns didn't even look like they missed a step. There was no ring rust on them. You can tell they were training to come back. And, the Rascals looked good. But in the end, Motor City Machine Guns pick up a win. The second match of the night, I don't know the backstory as to why this person got a title shot, but we got Tommy Dreamer taking on Moose for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
Really?
Now, you're not hearing me wrong. Yes, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship was defended at Slammiversary, as well as the Impact Championship later on in the night. Now,
didn't they bring the TNA title back because
of
what's her name?
Yes, Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah.
Which, quick side story on that, breaking news today, Tessa Blanchard apparently has not returned the Impact World Heavyweight Championship yet. And they had to go out and get another one because she is holding it ransom for $150,000.
Wow.
Yep. So
can't they just sue her or something?
Probably.
How does that work?
So again, Dreamer versus Moose for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
I'll be honest, I had no idea he was doing anything over there.
Dreamer pops in when he's needed. And this match was
a title match. Huh.
This match wasn't horrible by any means. This was a good match between the two of them. It was a hardcore match at that. So I was kind of like TNA World Heavyweight Championship defended in a hardcore match.
It makes me wonder: were they doing this because of Extreme Rules? Being the next.
That's a possibility. And this pulled out some stops that I hadn't seen in a while. The thumbtacks were there. There was the mountain of chairs that we've become accustomed to in the last few months.
Nice.
And not to waste too much time on this match, Moose retains. Was that gonna shock anybody in this one? I have a feeling they're gonna build a match towards the TNA World Heavyweight Championship versus the Impact Championship, winner takes all. Okay. It'll remain to be seen at this point, but that's what I'm guessing they're going to do. Because otherwise, why would you allow the TNA Heavyweight title back on TV?
Fair enough.
So the third match of the night was a gauntlet match, and there was just too many names to list, but it was the all-women Divas Championship match, and there were people like Tasha Steelz, Kylie Ray, Taya Valkyrie was in there. Neva was in there, Rosemary. There was Sue Young. Literally, or no, she's not Sue Young in this match. Sorry, she was Susie. But there was a lot of people. There was even Johnny Bravo dressed up as Tara Valkyrie and Rosemary at one point. So there was some weird shit going on in this match. Kylie Ray was in this match. Jessica Havoc was in this match. So it was just a gauntlet match where the match started out as a one-on-one, and then every so often another participant was added into the match, and you would eliminate your opponent by throwing them over the top rope, and it came down to the final two, and then the final person standing in the ring would get a number one contendership at the TNA Knockouts Championship. And surprise, surprise, guess who won, Josh?
I have no idea.
Kylie Ray.
Okay.
Now, this match was good, and I was really trying to jot down all the names as they were coming out, but there was just too many people in this match. There was 10, 11 people in this match. I was just screw it.
Was it good? Did it flow well?
It did, and you got to see Jessica Havoc and Neva joined forces again, and they are now a tag team in Impact Wrestling again.
Okay.
There was just a lot of shit going on in this match, feuds that were playing out on the big stage and this and that. And I was just like, damn. But it was good. It was good.
Cool.
And then there was a surprise appearance from none other than I Got Kids, Heath Slater. And he comes out.
Yeah, the one-man
Comes out and
band.
makes a statement that Impact Wrestling is. He said he was going to make an impact. Now he's here, and then this other guy comes out, and his name wasn't enough to write down.
When that story came out, because like I said, it was while we were, or I think it was right before we went on air for the last episode. I looked at his name, and for the life of me, can't remember what the hell it was either.
Yeah, it was. He was some guy that I'd never really heard of, and even watching the little bit of TNA I watched, I hadn't heard of him.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever. But Heath Slater beats him up and gets the upper hand, and the guy gets out of the ring, and Heath walks off, and we get our next match of the night, which is Chris Bay taking on Willie Mack for the X Division Championship.
Ooh.
Now,
nice to hear that they still are utilizing the X Division.
Well, yeah, it's nice to hear that they're utilizing the X Division Championship, but this match in no means was an X Division match.
Really?
Like, there was nothing. When I think X Division, I think guys like Christopher Daniels, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, Eric Young, Petey Williams.
You think essentially the TNA version of cruiserweights?
Yes. And I understand, like, X Division has never been weight defined. It's always got like the division is like its own thing, and Willie Mack's a bigger dude, and he can move.
Yeah.
But there was nothing in this match that made me go, "This is an X Division match." Yeah. And I was like,
it's essentially become just like a mid-level title.
Essentially, kind of.
That's disappointing.
It is, and I mean, it really is. In the end, though, Chris Bay picks up the win, becomes the new X Division champion. I was kind of like, okay, All right. We cut backstage. We get a nice little promo between Heath Slater and Rhino, and Rhino invites Heath Slater to show up on Impact Wrestling. It was actually kind of cool. It was a really cool moment between the two of them.
I didn't know Rhino was doing stuff over there either.
He's been over there now for like the last 6-7 months, and it was kind of cool to just see the two of them in like their moment. And he's like, "Yo, man," he's like, "Show up on Impact Wrestling," and he's like, the story between us isn't over yet."
Nice.
So, the next match of the night, we got Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock taking on the North for the Impact Tag Team Championship.
Damn, I've been out of fucking TNA shit for so long. I didn't even realize Ken Shamrock came back into wrestling.
Dude, not only is Ken Shamrock back, he looks fucking beast.
Nice.
Like, he looks good. In this match, I literally have like a couple of notes about this match, and this match was hard-hitting, if anything. It was a slower pace, but it was hard-hitting, and it was good. Like, it was one of the few matches where I was like, oh my God, who's going to win? And I wasn't like predetermined. Like, I knew who won the match, but I wasn't like, shit, yeah, this person wins. I was like, oh my God, like Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan have a chance of winning. And then I was like, oh wait, but they don't. After, I mean, the North retained. I mean, spoilers. If you're listening to this and you haven't watched Impact yet, then I'm sorry. However, though, the cool part of that came was that after the match, the North take the mic and they proceed to talk about how they're at like 380 days of being a champion, and they're now the longest reigning Impact Tag Team Champions ever, and there is not another tag team that can step up to them because they are the best. Simply the best. And out comes Motor City Machine Guns. And Motor City Machine Guns pretty much just lay out a challenge, and they're like, look, you want to say you're the best. We were around before both of you. We're both singles champions, and you're not. So let's do this on Impact and see who's really got what it takes to walk away with those belts. And the North accept.
Right.
So, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's did they say when that would happen?
I literally just said Impact.
Oh, just like on the next episode of Impact.
That's a pay-per-view quality match, but you can have it for free.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do it then.
Now, the next match of the night was a good match. It was Deonna Purrazzo versus Jordynne Grace for the Knockouts Championship. Okay. Now, when I say this match exceeded my expectations, this match was by far way better than I expected it to be. Jordynne Grace looked phenomenal and I have never heard of Diana Perazzo. I got to keep remembering it's Perazzo. But let me tell you something. One of the things that took me back right away was that commentary, as soon as the match starts, talks about how Diana
Just call her Diana. Don't even bother with the last name.
how she escaped the Stamford State Penitentiary. Now, I'm sorry, Impact Wrestling. You cannot make a statement like that when you're not even in the top 3 of wrestling federations currently running. As a matter of fact, I've comprised a list. The top 10 wrestling federations that Impact falls below. And in no specific order, so don't yell at me later, the WWE, AEW, NWA, New Japan, MLW, Lucha Underground, AAA, Ring of Honor, Glow, not the Fed, but the Netflix show, and Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Now,
Nice.
that is 10 feds that are better than Impact Wrestling. So when you get above like 3 or 4 of them, then you can start taking shots at the people who are burying you and ending your fucking reign as a TV show. Sorry, I had to get that out.
Solid list.
Now, the main event. Oh, I'm sorry. Perazzo won. Oh, I said that. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
So, the main event of Slammiversary 2020 saw a 5-way for the Impact, the vacant Impact title. We saw Ace Austin with Madman Fulton in his corner, taking on Trey, Eddie Edwards, Rich Swann, and a returning Eric Young. Now, before the match even starts, Eric Young's got a mic in his hand, and he's telling these guys that he was a surprise entrant and that he's a former world champion, and he's going to walk away with the Impact World title tonight. Now, the one thing I thought that was really cool about this was Madman Fulton and Eric Young share a past in the WWE, and that is that they are both former members of Sanity. So I was wondering if that was going to have anything to play out on Impact. It did not. This was a good match. Now, this was also an elimination match, and it came down to Ace Austin and Eddie Edwards. And this match was it was back and forth, and I was like, oh man, I'm like, are they going to put the title on Ace Austin for real? And then in the last seconds of the match, Eddie Edwards with no, it wasn't him. Sorry, it was earlier in the match. But there was a diving through the middle rope Canadian Destroyer.
Oh, damn.
Like, fuck.
I love me a Canadian Destroyer.
Well, it was awesome. I thought they were going for a suicide dive, and they tucked around the dude, and boom, Canadian Destroyer. Wow. And I was like, oh, shit. But in the final seconds of the match, Eddie Edwards with like a high knee or something puts Ace Austin down, gets the 1-2-3. Eddie Edwards is the new Impact Heavyweight Champion. And I was like, yes. I was like, okay, so this is where we're going. Eddie Edwards is now a 2-time champion for the company. And I'm like, let's see where this is going to go. And then right after that, Madman Fulton comes back out and starts just pounding on Eddie Edwards. And I mean, he's beating the hell out of him. Ace Austin is back in the ring. And it's a 2-on-1. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Eddie Edwards gets the championship. He's having his moment. And all of a sudden, music hits. And I'm like, I don't know that fucking music. And out come the Good Brothers. And they come down to the ring, and they kick the shit out of Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. And then they hit their finish, and then they celebrate with Eddie Edwards. Couple beers, have some fun, show ends.
Nice. All right.
Now, I thought you were going to watch Slammiversary, so I did my ratings for matches. So even though you don't have any like counter say to this, I have worst match of the night was Dreamer versus Moose. It was weird to see a hardcore title match for a title that's not hardcore.
Fair enough.
Best match of the night, I shockingly gave to Perazzo versus Grace.
Okay.
Because, like I said, that match shocked me it going above and beyond anything that I had expected for them at all. I was like, it's going to be a fucking Deonna Purrazzo just like fucking kills her and like takes the title.
Yeah.
And no, Jordan Grace actually like gave it her all. Moment of the night goes to Trey's diving Canadian Destroyer. Because I was like, yeah.
I feel like knowing myself, that's probably what mine would have been too.
I mean, there wasn't really much else that like really gave anything like moment of the night.
Yeah.
And then I went for MVP of the night. I gave it to a tag team.
Okay. Nice.
The return of the Motor City Machine Guns.
Nice. So they impressed you enough to give you that for you to.
I mean, Motor City Machine Guns always impressed me. I never take it away from them that they are an impressive tag team.
Yeah.
I always liked it better though when they were together and not separated because, in my opinion, they work better together than making separate entities.
Yeah.
So that is my review of Slammiversary 2020. I know it wasn't a long review, but since Josh had no counter says to it because he didn't watch Impact again, I gave you my one-sided statement to it.
Fair enough.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about the horror show at Extreme Rules.
That's right. The name that never should have been.
Now, I don't know what your thoughts were going into this, but I had at least a few of the things spoiled for me going into watching this pay-per-view.
I only had one. Only one thing was spoiled for me.
So see, I was excited to see how like some of these matches came to fruition because I'm like, okay, well, obviously this is what happened and like this is how it ended. How the hell did it get there though?
Yeah.
So I was excited for this. I don't know about you though.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I was. I was. There were certain things about it that I was like not super like looking forward to, and because neither of us watched it live, so we knew what the runtime was. I feel like it was. It seemed like it was kind of a short runtime to me. 2.5 hours. I mean, I feel like I remember when the pay-per-views used to be solid 3.
Easy 3, if not over.
Yeah. So it worried me a little bit. But yeah, so we'll get into that. So did you wind up watching the pre-show?
I did.
Okay. So did you watch the whole thing or just the parts that I directed you to?
Just the match.
Okay. All right. So they did like a build-up promo for the swamp fight during this, and it was really well done. Everything that they've been doing, in general, the stuff that they do with Bray is really, really good stuff. But this promo was really well done. A lot of creepy imagery. Had him as like a mad scientist, Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein kind of a thing. So it was really cool. At one point, he like yells at the rabbit.
Oh, Ramblin' Rabbit.
Yeah. He's like, run the video, and they run a video of Kofi. I think it's the New Day. Doing like SmackDown karaoke, and he's like, "Rabbit, that was the wrong video."
They ran that package during the show too.
Okay, yeah, they ran it during the pre-show as well. It is just really funny. Then we had like a backstage interview kind of a thing with the New Day, talking about tables and how you got to get inside the wood, and the wood's got to get inside of you. And all I could sit there and think of, that's what she said. But I didn't want to say that out loud because my kid was in the room.
Even better than that's what she said. That's what Paige said.
Ooh, there you go.
Don't go getting X-rated like your boy Xavier. Oh!
Then they brought out their mentor for this match, the one, the only, Devon Dudley. That's right. Apparently he was there giving them advice. I thought that was really cool just to see him there.
He wasn't the only Dudley backstage.
Okay.
There were rumors that Bubba Ray was backstage and that he might have actually gotten involved, but they didn't use him.
Huh.
I was kind of sad by that because I would have loved to have seen the Dudleys come out and do something.
Yeah. Then, you had Sasha and Bayley. Sasha's just heaping praise on Bayley like always. But I gotta say, like, she keeps on talking about how, Bayley's better than Trish Stratus, John Cena, Lita, and I'm just like, I'm not. No, I'm not gonna go there. Um, but with all this praise, I'm just like, one of these days, she's gonna turn on her. It's just,
Oh yeah.
it's gonna happen, man. It can't not happen. But then we got to the pre-show match: Kevin Owens versus Murphy. I thought this was actually a damn good match, especially for a pre-show match.
I didn't think it was a horrible match. I expected it to be short.
I mean, almost every match was short. That's the
Oh
problem.
yeah, but I mean, like, for what we knew of the main show, I expected this match to be even shorter. Like, bell ring stunner over.
Yeah, but no, I think they put on a hell of a match, in my opinion.
They really did.
This is the kind, like, I would have been satisfied if this had been the opening match, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah, I could have definitely seen this being on the main show and not pre-showed.
Yeah.
Actually, if they'd have flipped this with the eye for an eye match, I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, and Murphy impressed me here. You know, I never really thought much of him. I was like, he was fine, whatever. But he never was really.
I have to pick apart on Murphy is his similar shirt style to Jeff Hardy's.
Oh, okay.
Because Jeff wears that exact same style shirt with like the colored sleeves and the black main part, and it zips up. And I'm like, are you wanting to be Jeff Hardy now? Like, are you Seth Rollins or are you Jeff Hardy? Like, make up your mind.
Yeah, and I thought it was good. You know, I really enjoyed it.
It was.
Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts on that match itself?
No.
Okay. They also announced that unsanctioned match. We talked about it because it got
but that's talked about so it on weird Raw. Though, because I don't understand why it's unsanctioned, considering Big Show is still considered an active roster member, or at least alumni. So I mean, it's not like he's not cleared to wrestle, and he's been on Raw recently.
Yeah, and it's just like usually it's like an unsanctioned match. It just kind of happens. Like that's what happened before. But no, the night before they're like, "This is what's happening on Monday Night Raw." I'm like,
they should have just made it a no holds barred match.
Like, why? Yeah, it's really what it should have been. And then the last thing about the pre-show that I want to kind of just mention, JBL really stepping over Renee when they're talking. I don't know if this is the whole virtual, like they're talking because like they're on computers or they're all at home.
Yeah,
JBL, Renee, and Booker T are all at home and they're on their computers. But like she's trying to say stuff and he just will like start talking over her and then won't let her talk. And I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, stop being rude and let her like say what she's trying to say. I don't know. It bothered me. But yeah, so that was the pre-show. Yeah, I think for a pre-show, this is one of the better matches that I've seen for a pre-show.
I would agree
in quite a while. So I really like that. So all right, so time for the show, and we get into it. First match of the night: The New Day versus Shinsuke and Cesaro for SmackDown Tag Team in a tables match.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was shocked to see a tag team tables match. It's been a long time.
Though, knowing, like, watching the pre-show and knowing that they've been kind of being mentored by the Dudleys, or at least by Devon, it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, So right away, action starts. It gets right into it. I want to get your thoughts real quick, just in general, on this match before we like dive a little bit deeper.
Well, I made a couple of notes, and my notes read as the following: few slow moments, but steady pace. Good match overall. Holy shit finish.
Yeah, I think those are some pretty decent notes. I have my note says, "Damn, this is a good match."
Because I was really shocked to see how well Shinsuke and Cesaro work up against a unit like Big E and Kofi. Yeah. And I mean, Kofi and Big E went into this match with like a head of steam. They're the champs. They're happy. You know, Black Lives Matter. And then they run into the brick wall that is the Artist Collective. And I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah. So there was one moment in the match. It was this awkward edited cut where Kofi boots Shinsuke off the ringside and they cut away before he hits the ground. Like, they don't show it. And then they never show Shinsuke until he's there with Cesaro holding the table.
Huh.
You never see him again. So Kofi boots him, then they cut over to Big E and Cesaro, and then you never see Shinsuke on the ground or any of it. So,
I don't even think I noticed that.
I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if there was something weird going on, and so they felt like they had to edit it out, but...
Interesting.
That's the one thing I don't like about it not being live. Like, being shot live.
Oh, yeah.
Is that they do stuff like that. I'm just like, I'm not a fan of that. But yes, that, okay, so before we actually talk about the finish, the setup to the finish, I literally have in my notes, holy shit, they're double stacking tables.
The moment I saw it, I was like, whoever hits that's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
And like the angle, I knew it was gonna be something from like the corner.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
they were teasing it so many freaking times.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Kofi goes for a fucking like head scissor. I think he tried to put Cesaro, like tried to head scissor him through it, and that didn't work. A few other things that tried to happen. Yeah, but then Cesaro just power bombing Kofi through those tables, dude.
And so hard too. Like Kofi's head went first through the tables.
Yeah, it was sick. And
I was like, God damn.
Obviously, it's hard to come back from something like that, and unfortunately for the New Day, their reign as the tag team champs have come to an end.
Well,
Shinsuke and Cesaro are
his
new
theme song. Somebody called Kofi's mama.
Now, I have a little asterisk note in here that's not actually about what happened, what's going on in the match.
Okay.
It's about my daughter. I'm watching this. She's out there. She's running around the house. He goes through the table, and he's laying there on the floor. She comes running out, and she's like, why isn't that guy getting up? I was like, well, I mean, he just got put through a table. He needs a little bit of rest. And she's like, I think he's just being a drama queen, and just runs off. Oh, it was fantastic. I had to mention that.
The next time I see somebody go through a table, that's going to be what goes through my head, too. Stop being such a drama queen.
Oh, it was great. It was great. All right, so our next matchup. Nikki Cross versus Bayley for the SmackDown's Women Championship. No stipulation here, just a match, which bums me out.
Look at you skipping over the backstage segment.
Oh, yeah.
I liked the little backstage segment right before this.
Which one was this one?
You had Nikki Cross with Alexa Bliss.
Oh, that, yeah.
You had Asuka and Kairi Sane standing there. And they're pep talking Nikki. And they're like, yeah. And I love it because they're pepping her up. And then Kairi Sane goes, and even if you lose, we'll still be your friends. Yeah.
That's true. That was funny.
Now, this match, I had a lot of expectations going into this match to be hard-hitting, fast-paced, slobber knocker. And as JR would say, somebody was going to get beat like a proverbial government mule. And I'm not disappointed with this match at all. I honestly thought that this match went way better than it could have.
Oh, absolutely. Nikki was on fire.
Dude, she looked good.
Yeah.
And I mean, she looked good, and she looked good.
Yeah. Oh, I totally get what we're going for here.
The only part about this match that disappointed me, and I mean, I'm not trying to skip over the match, but the thing that disappointed me the most was the ending.
Yeah.
Like, this match was good. And, I mean, again, for people who haven't watched the pay-per-view yet, you need to get on WWE Network and subscribe for $9.99, get the network, borrow a friend's network, watch the goddamn pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Now, I was really shocked that, like, the whole time, I mean, Nikki looked strong. It looked like it was going to be Nikki Cross's moment. And then, Sasha tries to do the whole, I'm going to help out. She tries to feed the title into the ring, and the ref kind of catches word to it. But then she pops off one of her rings, throws it in the ring, and a punch to the stomach from Bayley.
And it's no ordinary ring. It's that it's almost like a brass knuckle.
It's the legit boss rings, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, like, yeah, she punched her dead in the stomach. And I mean, the only part of it is that bugged me. And I was talking about this at work this morning. She got punched in the stomach. She still could have kicked out of that.
Yeah.
And
The only thing that I wonder if they're trying to maybe sell it like she got punched in the rib and broke her rib. But I don't think they ever said anything like that.
Not really.
But...
They just kind of were the way I viewed it was she got punched in the stomach so hard that she probably couldn't breathe right. Yeah. And I mean, yes, that makes it hard to kick out, but I was really disappointed that was how the ending to the match went.
It should have been she got punched in the stomach, and then whatever her finisher is.
The belly to belly.
Yeah.
Which would have been...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like bam, that way she's like, oh, and then she just, bam, hits that. There you go.
Yeah, and I would have been okay with that.
Yeah.
So, I'm not taking any points off the match for that, but I was just disappointed that we had to give it another cheap win to get over.
I'm just kind of getting sick of both of them not being able to win without the other.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like
every match.
And that's it. We're going to see this again later on when we talk about the Asuka-Sasha Banks match. And I'm just like...
we saw this last month, too.
In my point. And I'm like, I'm just, okay.
Yeah, it's getting old. And they need
so obviously, for those of you who haven't seen the match yet, Bayley retains the championship. Yeah. And it cuts backstage and we get Bray Wyatt's little promo that Josh was saying that they ran during the pre-show. And...
little bits of they didn't know, they just showed little bits of it.
Oh, like okay.
Pieces, not the whole Funhouse thing.
It was still just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was really funny. I loved the segment with Ramblin' Rabbit, and I never get tired of hearing the Funhouse theme.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, haha.
I really think, I mean, the Bray Wyatt thing and everything they did with it is realistically, I mean, I'm not even going to count the eye for an eye match anymore because we'll talk about it later, but they changed the ending. It's the only thing that really made this the quote-unquote horror show that they're talking about, you know?
Yeah.
Like, otherwise it's just Extreme Rules. Like, they've done, like, pretty much every year for quite a while. And
pretty much.
And I don't think they needed to even call it anything. Like... This both of those matches could have still just been on WWE Extreme Rules, and it
could have been.
Would have. It's not like it wouldn't have made sense. You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, so we get into we get into the next match.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So
and, it's supposed to be MVP versus Apollo Crews.
Supposed to be for the United States Championship.
Yeah.
And again, here's WWE with the swerve. Apollo Crews can't make it tonight. Yep. So, MVP
apparently, Bobby Lashley beat him up too bad or something.
Yeah, something about the master lock being applied on him so hard that he bulged a disc or something.
Yeah, something.
Which I get it. He's hurt. He can't wrestle. Blah, blah, blah.
So MVP claims that due to a forfeit, he is now the new United States champion and puts the belt on and walks off.
Now, the thing that made me laugh about this was he gets out to grab the belt, and he grabs the entire, like, decor off the table.
The cloth and
like,
everything.
Ah!
But I will say, finally seeing... I don't know if anybody's actually worn the belt yet, but this is the first time I've seen it on somebody. It does look a bit better than I was... Than when it's just sitting there. It's still a little smaller than I would have liked it to be, but it's grown on me. And I dislike it less and less every time. But yeah, I was really pissed off that there was no match here. It reminded me of the Viking Raiders and Street Profits match. But at least we got something from them. You know, we got the outside stuff, which was at least something. This was literally nothing. Like, here, we're going to have a match for you guys. Oh, wait, no, we're not. What? Fuck you. I was so pissed about that. But Apollo is still the champ. This was announced that he is still the champ.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there will be other things happening.
After that whole situation with the... Oh, what do they call themselves? I have this note. Hold on. The Hurt Business. After the Hurt Business goes backstage... we finally get our next match of the night, which sees Seth Rollins taking on Rey Mysterio in an eye versus eye match.
An eye for an eye.
Eye for an eye. And I'm sorry. The only thing I can think of when I saw like the build up to this match and everything is I was like, eye.
Yeah, so the stipulation for this match is you need to pluck your opponent's eyeball out of their head. And as soon as I heard about this, I was like, what? This is the stupidest thing because you would never actually do that. You know what I mean? This isn't like freaking some Mortal Kombat, stranded island where they're fighting to the death kind of bullcrap. Like,
right?
It's professional wrestling. Like, you're not actually pulling somebody's eye out. And there was news. We talked about it, I think, last week about how, either last week or the week before, about how they had said that they were going to use CGI.
CGI.
For this match, which we'll talk about at the end. They did not air, I'll say. So, so Rollins comes out. He's got a pair of pliers with him. I thought that was kind of cool.
I love how he hit the steps with them to show you that they were real.
Now, I like the match in general. We talked a little bit about that, how the actual match itself was pretty good. But there were some really kind of weird commentary going on during this match. One line that I specifically wrote down. Seth Rollins wants to grind that eyeball out slow. When you ever going to hear something like that?
Yeah. And I mean, and commentary did their best to make this match seem as legit as possible.
Yeah.
But, I mean, again, going into a match like this, okay.
Yeah. There was one moment that I thought was really cool. The Ray slid out of the ring into a sunset flip when he went through the ropes, and then just slammed Seth right into the barricade with it. I thought it was really well done. It was just like, floop, pow. I dug that. I thought that was really cool. Probably not as good as that Canadian Destroyer that you saw.
So I had nothing bad to actually say about this match. The match itself was way better than I expected.
Yeah, the actual match was
absolute trash.
I think the stuff in the ring was the best part of it. Like when they got away from like Seth pulling out every weapon he can find to try to just gouge it all out or whatever. Whatever, okay, it's Extreme Rules, so that still fits within the realm of that. But once they were actually in the ring and wrestling, dude, these two guys put on a hell of a show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No.
So then we get down to the final seconds of the match. And it looks like Rey Mysterio is going to get Seth Rollins' face put right into the corner of the steps. And Seth wiggles out and grabs Rey Mysterio's face and goes, boom.
Yep.
And I was like...
And it was so anticlimactic.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, that's it? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what happened to the CGI? I thought I was supposed to see an eyeball.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Now, the one thing...
We find out later on, I found out there's an article out. Apparently Vince, they did film, or they did do stuff with CGI. But apparently Vince decided against it because it was a bit too much, a bit too gory. For
I mean, I think the gore would have probably saved the end of this match at that point.
Dude, and it would have made what happened next a little bit better.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I mean, I love that Seth Rollins is like, oh my God,
yeah, dude, he just legit threw.
I was like, wow.
Reminds me of old ECW.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, holy shit. Like, he's legit. And I mean, he was legit thrown up, too. Like,
yeah, I don't know what he did, but I give him props, man. I give him props. I don't know if he did he, like, eat a bunch of spaghetti or something before? You know what I mean? So he had some stuff to, but that I actually kind of like that part.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
But yeah.
After that, we move into the next match of the night. And we get Asuka taking on Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship.
Again,
now,
no stipulation.
No stipulation. And right off the bat, I have an issue with this match.
Okay.
Why the hell did the champion come out before the challenger?
That's a good point.
I mean,
yeah, I'm not a fan when that happens either.
No, I'm never a fan when that happens because you always show the champion fucking respect.
Yeah.
But yeah, Asuka trumps out to the ring, and then here comes Bayley and Sasha Banks, and I'm like, and you noticed, I'm like, here we go, and of course the match gets underway, and it was decent. It was better than I expected it to be.
Yeah, I thought they worked well together. I thought that Sasha has really progressed as a wrestler.
Definitely.
You know, it was, again, weird seeing Kairi Sane knowing that on the next night, that's her last night.
Yeah.
You know, so, like, knowing that that was happening, I was like, man, it's really weird. Because, like, I feel like it had been a while since I'd seen her. Granted, I'm not watching the 3-hour show every week. All the time, I'll catch some clips here and there if I can. I got a lot of shit going on. But it was just weird knowing that she was essentially going to be gone. And she's there. You know
well, one of the things I thought was absolutely kind of funny about how everything played out was I noticed there was less interference in this match than there was in the previous Women's Championship match.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I'm like, so cool, yeah. I'm like, so we're going to get a pretty decent finish then. And knowing how this match, like, who won this match, I was like, how the hell do we get there then? And all of a sudden, you know, they had this weird camera angle where they're shooting from the side, and it's Bayley getting in the face of the ref, and I'm like,
no, didn't
Sasha.
Yeah.
Sasha was in the face of the ref. And I'm like, where the hell is this going?
Yeah.
And then Asuka pops up, and they flip the camera back around, and I'm like, oh, no way. And she whips Sasha Banks around and goes,
but
which
Sasha
I know you had to mark out for.
Drops right out of the way.
Oh, yeah, right out of the way.
And
Missed the ref.
And that ref just took a face full of mist.
I don't know if you noticed this, but she didn't actually get the mist out like normal either. It came out like the chew tablet came out.
Oh, did it? See, I didn't see that. Okay.
And I was just like, damn. And then all of a sudden, here comes Bayley. Bayley gets up in the ring with her title, hits Asuka in the back, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this is where it goes downhill. And of course it does.
This wasn't the first interference in this match, though.
No.
Because there was a set of interference that went on earlier where it saved Sasha's ass.
Yes.
Yeah. The whole thing with the title again, which they've done how many times?
And that's it. I mean, at this point, either stop letting them bring the gold to the ring, or just ban Sasha from ringside, or steel cage match.
Yeah, because I mean, Asuka had won. Sasha was tapping out, but
she had that match won on a couple of occasions.
The ref was so distracted with Bayley that it just didn't happen. And real quick, before we kind of get into the real end of everything, there were a couple other things I wanted to talk about just real quickly from this match. There was a random camera angle during the match where both Asuka and Sasha are out. They're on the ground, and you just see Asuka's hand, and she scritches Sasha's head. It's like the checking on her almost, but
probably.
But the camera caught it, and it was really weird to see. I'm just like, what the fuck is she doing? She's just like on her head. It was a weird fucking thing.
So
then Sasha's botch.
Which one?
Where she slips off the middle rope and F's her knee up. Like, I don't know what move she was going for. I don't know if she's gonna double knee her like she does a lot of times or what. But dude, I haven't seen a botch like that in a while.
So it's really funny that you mentioned catching the head scritch thing, okay?
Yeah.
So the entire pay-per-view, I kept noticing, because you know how they're shooting from a different side than they would usually shoot? They would usually, the way we're looking at it right now,
they don't shoot from the hot side, they shoot toward the entrance.
Yeah. So them shooting this way, I'm watching, and over to the right-hand side of the entrance, I kept getting distracted by one person specifically. And I noticed her during entrances, and I noticed her a few random points when they're panning the fans and people are pounding on the plexiglass.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, the first time I saw her, I'm like, oh, she's kind of cute. I wonder who it is. She's just some punk chick. And then it finally clicked on me who it was, and it was Shotzi Blackheart.
Oh, was it really? Oh,
green hair,
damn.
and she
I
was
didn't
like,
even notice.
yeah, Shotzi Blackheart, and I was like, okay.
You're like, I'd let her run my leg over with a tank any day.
So let's talk about the ending to this women's championship match and how
Yes.
disappointing this is.
So the ref gets misted. Okay.
Hard missed.
So what do, right? The ref is out. He's down. He is down, man.
Obviously, you would send another ref to the ring.
You would think so.
You would think so.
But why send a ref when there's already somebody standing there?
What? Who was standing there?
Well, Bailey. She just decides to take it upon herself.
Isn't she in Sasha Banks' corner, though?
She is. But you know what they say. You want to be the man, you got to beat the man. Or in Bailey's case, take the shirt right off his back. And that's exactly what she did with that ref.
Absolutely. And then Sasha Banks proceeds to get the 1, 2, 3 on Asuka.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there, I'm just like, there's no way this will count. Like, I know that I've seen, refs get knocked out, and then you see like a wrestler in a ref shirt come running out.
Yep.
To do it, but I would assume that they were like, that was official, that they were made official to do that. You know what I mean? This was obviously not official. She just ripped the shirt, literally took the shirt off the dude's back.
Like ripped it right off him.
Threw it on herself and just 1, 2, 3 that thing. And then they got out of there with the title. Just like she made the ring guy ring the bell. They weren't going to ring the bell because they're like,
well, now
what? And
this is one of those things, like you said, as soon as I saw it play out, I was like, well, this is going to have ramifications on Raw. Like, there's no way that Sasha Banks is going to be the legit Raw Women's Champ at this point.
Yeah.
And I know we're not going to review Raw too much. Like, we're going to talk a little bit about it, but it does play out on Raw, where Sasha and Bayley come out and they're decked out in full gold. And they're talking about how they're now running the women's division because they have all the women's gold. And Asuka and Kairi Sane come out. And they are like, fuck you. That's not how this works. And before they can even get in the ring, they're interrupted. Josh, who interrupts?
The boss's daughter, Stephanie McMahon. That's right.
You know what? I'm going to have dinner with Vince. I'm going to make him fall in love with me.
How you going to do it?
I'm going to tell him Steph's pregnant.
You're going to tell him you're pregnant? What?
I'm going to tell him Steph's pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, so Stephanie comes up and she's like, I don't think so. This bullshit is going to fly. She's like, you're not even official.
Yep, she lays it down, man.
Oh, God. She laid it down hard, too. And she said that next week on Raw, there will be a rematch between Sasha Banks and Asuka. Now, the thing that I thought was legit funny, if you watch while Sasha Banks is boasting that she's got the title, it still has Asuka's side plates on it.
That's great.
If they wanted to play it off,
they just took the title and went. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but if they really wanted to play it off that she was thinking herself the champ, they should have changed the side plates before they're gonna like
they could have showed her like screwing them on.
Hell yeah! But I mean, I'm not unappreciative to the fact that they're at least trying to make the storyline work.
Yeah.
I'm sure in the end.
Now, you did not mention the stipulations to that match on Raw.
Well, I figured you would address that.
Now, this isn't just your ordinary run-of-the-mill rematch. No. If Sasha is counted out, disqualified, or if Bayley gets involved in any way, Asuka keeps the title.
Yep.
So all of this, the ref gets distracted and Bayley's doing all this. Look over here while stuff's happening over here. Not gonna fly. Guarantee you, Steph. I wouldn't be shocked if Steph is out at ringside during this match.
Maybe. Depends on if she wants to risk COVID.
That's true. Maybe she'll just be on the Titantron the entire time.
Maybe.
That'd be kind of weird and creepy. Just like the ominous figure watching the match.
Maybe they could bring back the Raw general manager.
Just the laptop on a
just
podium
the laptop.
sitting there. That'd be hilarious. I actually would love that. Yeah. So, it's interesting. Do you think Sasha can do it?
Do I think she can do it? Yes. Do I think they're going to let her do it there?
Without all the interference, is what I mean?
Yes.
Okay.
I do think she can do it. I don't think they're going to have her do it yet. Okay. And if they do, they're going to find a way around the whole cheating thing. Okay. Something will happen, or someone's going to try to help Asuka, and it's going to backfire.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm interested to see how that all turns out.
Agreed.
All right.
So after that match,
we get an update about Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. And they're like, well, you know.
I know you had some words. You had some words about this. So
I did, because I thought it ruined everything that they had just done.
Yeah. I'll let you
like,
take
they're
this.
like, oh my God, his eye's out of its socket. He's going to be blind forever. And then they're like, here's an update. Rey Mysterio is going to go under some, like, he seems to be okay. And they're going to run some tests, and they're going to be okay pretty much. And if he does everything he said, Rey Mysterio's vision will be fine.
Essentially, yeah. It's like, as long as the optic nerve hasn't been severed and the blood vessels and nerves aren't damaged, he'll most likely regain his vision. And I was like, and I wrote down, so essentially you're saying, he'll be okay.
Pretty much.
That's what they're saying.
So now, I really thought they were going to go an angle with this one step further, where Rey Mysterio comes back, he's got the partial blindness in one eye, and then they were going to do something like, I know this is a little bit before your time of professional wrestling, and I know a lot of the people listening aren't going to know what the hell I'm talking about, so look it up. Rick Martel versus Jake the Snake in a blindfold match. And essentially what they did was they put, like, black sacks over their face because Jake had been sprayed in the face with Rick Martel's perfume thing. And it was a phenomenal match. And I thought this is kind of where they were going with this. Like, oh, man, Ray's going to only have half of his eyesight. Which
Dude, this is a perfect opportunity for Rey Mysterio to have a Deathstroke type of mask.
Hell yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't yet.
I know. This is the perfect time now.
Absolutely.
And if he doesn't, I'm going to be angry about it.
It's funny because I've got one note here for my update on Ray's situation.
Okay.
So they're essentially saying that if his eyesight is okay, he'll be fine. And I was like, so there's probably like a 25% chance that it wouldn't have been okay, which means he's already half the size of everybody. So you take 25% off of that. That makes him a quarter of his eyesight. It's like some Scott Steiner mathematics right there.
So be it.
So after the
math lesson,
Rey Mysterio, we move into the semi-main event.
Yeah.
Which saw Dolph Ziggler going up against Drew McIntyre for the title.
What I called a modified Extreme Rules match.
I mean, I loved it that they went into this match and only Ziggler knew what the ramifications were going to be.
I thought
McIntyre was like blindsided.
I thought this was a brilliant set of rules too.
Oh, absolutely! It was Extreme Rules for Dolph only, with the champ's disadvantage. Now,
yeah, and if McIntyre gets counted out or DQ'd, no title. And I was like, holy shit! I'm like, now in my notes I even have, is this Dolph's night? ? Yeah, I mean, so if it's ever gonna be his night, this would be the night. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, this was a great match. I mean, great match.
Yeah, it was.
They did so well in making Drew McIntyre look so strong to overcome all those odds. And at the same time, Dolph Ziggler looked so good trying to pull out all the stops just to get the upper hand over Drew McIntyre.
He really did, man. And I don't care what they keep saying. Drew McIntyre took a headshot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely took a headshot.
They keep saying, oh, hey, blasted him in the shoulder.
Oh, no.
You got hit with the shoulder. I'm like, oh, no, he didn't. Like, that's why they didn't show the original angle in the replays.
Yep.
Because that first angle, you can see he gets fucking right in the head.
The shot that really made me cringe a little bit is there was a spot where there was an open steel chair and, like, McIntyre's pulling himself up, and his throat was right above the seat piece. And when Dolph comes down with the chair, he lands throat first. And I was like, bravo. I was like, fucking bravo.
Yeah. And, like, he was, like, I don't know if he actually, like, if it hurt at all or if he was just selling it, but he did a good job of
either way, man. Either way, it looked good.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, obviously, final seconds of the match, he kips up, Claymore kick to Dolph Ziggler. I was like,
Dude.
shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this. Dolph Ziggler was this close. This close.
There were a couple of times. I mean, one of them was an accident.
Yeah.
Did you see the when he got got to the 9 count and he goes to get in and he grabs the ring apron and slips and almost doesn't get in the ring before the tap. I was like,
yep.
Oh man, what?
Now,
like, would the ref have actually delayed his count? I don't know.
He would have had to have.
Like, yeah.
Now, this had one of those moments that also played out on Raw. And I don't know if you saw this or heard about this.
Yeah, I didn't.
Dolph Ziggler comes out, or Drew McIntyre comes out to the ring. Let me see where I've got the notes on this one.
Bam, bam. That's right. I mean, this whole match was actually really well balanced.
It was.
And so, that's what I loved about it.
Drew comes out to the ring, and he's celebrating the fact that he's still the champ. He's giving his props to Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph comes out. And Dolph is like, you did what I didn't expect you to do. You beat me. He's like, but now, he's like, I'm asking you to be a man and admit the fact that I was this close to having my moment. Give me one more shot. And he's like, no. And Dolph was like, give me one more shot and I'll let you pick the stipulation.
Oh.
And Drew stops and Drew turns and Drew's like, deal. And Dolph's like, yeah, what are we going to fight in? And Drew's like, oh no, I'm going to do exactly what you did to me. I won't tell you until we step in the ring.
Oh. Did they happen to say when it was going to happen by any chance?
I believe it's going to be next week on Raw.
Oh, okay.
I believe
that's
honestly
definitely one to tune in for.
Yes. And then let's talk about this main event.
Yes, let's talk about this main event.
Oh.
And it was definitely an event.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we have Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman in a Wyatt swamp fight. This is the pay-per-view cinematic match, but not done in the shitty just like, oh, here's a match and it's 7 minutes. This was done like the Boneyard match.
Yeah.
I loved, and I love that they did this here. Whole match filled with super creepy imagery, really kind of milking into that whole horror show thing that they got going on. Braun getting attacked by Wyatt's random followers that he's got there. I don't know if they have any sort of name or what, but I just called them his followers. So this shot I love, where he's confronted by himself. It's the Luke Darth Vader scene essentially, where Braun's on the ground and then a massive figure steps up and it's Braun with the black sheep mask, and I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Like, really, really cool. And then he's taken captive. I'm like, okay, he's all chained up. Like, they're really working this like a movie, And I'm like, all right, sweet. Then out comes the Eater of Worlds. Yeah, man, he looked fucking great. And I gotta say, I miss hearing that music. Miss it so much. I don't know about you, but I miss the hell out of it. Big Snake. Don't know why, but Big Snake, that works.
Why not a big snake?
Yeah, why not? More followers there at one point. Sets a fucking dude on fire at one point. I thought that was pretty cool. It's like the one guy who, like, you actually see his face. Because, like, none of the other followers, you really see their face. At least enough to notice them. It's so quick with any of the other ones, or you just can't see their face. But this one guy, you see, I didn't recognize him. I'm assuming he's just a stunt guy. But
probably. It was probably just an accident.
Yeah, he gets set on fire. Now, before I get too deep into the rest, is there stuff that you want to talk about with that stuff? Because there's some stuff coming up that's like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, before I start, let me start by this. Oh.
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
So, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something, brother. This match Oh, I was super intrigued. This match had everything I thought it was going to have. And
I think it had more than what I expected it to have.
So you're focusing on the wrestling detail for 1 second. Can I pull your attention back for 1 second? Let's talk about the background detail people weren't paying attention to.
Okay.
Dirty totes stacked up in the garage that Braun's trapped in.
Okay.
How everything just looked filthy and dingy. This detail that they put into decorating what Bray Wyatt's swamp area would look like, is just making it look like ragged and busted up and just like
that hanging light with just the bulb.
Without being too vulgar, I had half a package of quarters in my pocket. Like, I was like, man. God damn. Yeah. Like, I was jealous that I never got to be in a match like that. Not even a bullshit. Now, getting into the match itself, the moment that the match starts and, like, you know, Braun pulls up in his truck and he gets out, and Bray's just sitting there in the rocking chair. And I was like, oh, I got goosebumps. Like, I got goosebumps right now talking about it.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh. And like you said, yes, it was nice to hear the classic version of the Bray Wyatt theme, because he is using, as the Fiend, he uses a revamped version with like a female singer. And I was like, oh my God. It was just phenomenal. In the story of, like you said, Braun just in his face, and then, like, there's the scuffle, and then he's chained up, and then he gets bit by a snake, and it starts unfolding this, like, delirium. And I'm like, ooh.
Dude. And after the dude's set on fire, there's a sequence that comes about with who I thought they were going to actually reveal Sister Abigail.
Essentially, it was supposed to be. Now, I know a lot of fans.
But here's the question: is it, or is it just delirium, like you said?
Well, and that's the thing. So a lot of people are shitting on Alexa Bliss for being involved in that match.
Oh, dude!
And I say
that was a fantastic thing for, and I loved it.
And this is what I'm saying. Any of those people who are shitting on Alexa Bliss's involvement in that match, fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, he got bit by a snake. He's having a delirium induced psychosis, and he's seeing what he needs to see to survive.
Yeah, he sees this like ghastly vision of her, you know, in the lace, the black lace thing, and she's tempting him. It's not just, you know, what he needs to see, but it's I think it's more than that. I think it's the Fiend's magic.
How, you know, I took it
trying to tempt him to come home.
I saw it as a multi-layer euphemism. It was Bray Wyatt
rejoin Bray or die. That's the way I took it.
And that's it. I saw it as like it was Sister Abigail, but she's dressed in like the black shroud that like you see Abby wear, the puppet, which is supposed to be based on
that's Abigail, yeah.
And then I'm like, well, what if it's also supposed to be like a representation of Lady Death? Yeah. Because you get like the flashbacks to like Team Big Little, and I'm like, okay.
So like maybe like Abigail doesn't actually have her own visage.
Yes.
So she uses the okay. I like that.
And
I really like
she comes to you in what you need. And like that's why she's tempting Bray with like, come with me. We can love each other if you come with me. Yeah. It's the eternal, this is what I'll give you if you give me your life.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's not just give me your life, it's give Bray your certitude. Give Bray your allegiance. Give Bray the hands. And so he comes out of that a little bit, and he's like, he's still foggy, and then Bray pops back up, and they start going at it again, and I'm like, yes! And I'm like, oh my God, and I'm drooling, and I'm like, oh my God. And then they get down near the swamp, and I'm like, oh man. I'm like, what are they going to do? And Braun chucks him in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, shit. I was like, okay. And the moment that he's like, well, where did Bray go? Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, we're about to get like a horror movie scene right here.
I'm like, dude, you never lean over and stare into the wall. No. Don't do
and I thought that same thing. I was like I said, we're going to get a horror movie ending here. Uh-huh. And sure as shit, Bray pops up out of the water, mandible claw, and yanks him in.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you caught this
That
detail.
ain't the end.
The water runs red.
Yeah, I had that in my notes that Braun kicked him into the water, then Bray popped back up, grabbed him, and then the waters turned red.
Yeah.
And then the Fiend appears.
Yeah.
And I love that. Well, he just laughed maniacally, everything goes black, and all you hear is, "Let me in." Oh man. It was a sight of beauty. It was amazing. Yeah. And that was the show, man.
That was it was a good show.
Literally, that's the end of the show.
Now, I went the wrong way. So, okay. So let's talk about the small details to the show for the night. Like our favorite parts. So let's work from worst match of the night.
Worst match of the night. I have it written down, even though it might be a cheat, and I can pick something else if you want me to.
You went for the U.S. title match, didn't you?
MVP versus Apollo. But if it's not gonna be that, honestly, I think it's the eye for an eye match.
Wow.
Yeah. Mainly because, honestly,
are you kidding me?
That ending really bothered me.
Are you kidding me?
A lot.
I picked an eye for an eye match. I had to have you go in there for a second.
I'm like, what the hell would he have picked otherwise?
And it was mainly because of that ending. I loved the match, but the ending completely devastates the rest of the match. It undoes everything that they just put together.
Yeah.
All right. So not to go for the best match of the night yet. Let's go for moment of the night.
Okay, so part of me wanted to like pick something from the swamp fight, but I'm like, there's too much stuff. That whole match is something, and I'm like, I just can't. So I went with my first pick because I pick as we're going, and then if it changes, I change it on my list. And my first pick, which stayed the whole night, Kofi going through the tables.
Kofi going through the tables!
Yes! Fantastic. Oh, man, dude, it was so... Because I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think they were going to lose.
No, and I didn't think so either. And not that way.
I mean, I figured somebody was going through those tables, but I sure as heck did not think it was going to be...
Yeah, but did you know that there was also no accidental table spots in that match?
Yeah, I thought that... Shinsuke.
Oh, yeah.
When he suicide dove through and he wound up like pushing the table, I thought he was going to wind up going through the table, but that obviously did not happen.
So, next one. MVP of the night, sir.
I feel like there's only one that it can be, and that's Bray Wyatt, baby.
Ooh. We disagreed on one, actually.
Bray Wyatt brought something, like, honestly, for a long time, he's been bringing something special anytime he's around. But
now
I feel like even more so than he's done lately, like, I thought he was far more impressive here than even in, like, that Firefly Funhouse match that we saw. This was something special. I'm
not going to lie. I almost picked Bray Wyatt to be my MVP of the night.
Yeah.
But I figured me picking Bray Wyatt was like me picking Dr. Pepper to drink. Everybody expects it.
It was expected, yeah.
And then I almost picked MVP for the MVP of the night just because his name's MVP. But I went with a real pick. I picked Dolph Ziggler.
Okay.
He really busted his ass to make Drew McIntyre look good, while at the same time making himself look like a main event player again.
You know what?
And for that, I had to give him props, and I was like MVP of the night.
Yeah, I can. I'm okay with that. Yeah, he definitely did. He showed that he deserves to be, higher tier than he is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He deserves to have these opportunities. So yeah, I'm cool
now,
with that.
I know we're going to disagree on this one for different reasons.
Okay.
Match of the night.
The swamp match.
I knew that's what you were picking.
Oh, yeah.
It's not what I picked.
I'm surprised. Okay.
Again, if I pick Bray Wyatt, everybody expects that.
Yeah,
and as much as I thought...
If it's legit,
As much as I respected that match, I didn't think that it held up to... Because there wasn't an actual, we don't know who actually technically won. There was no distinguishing factors in how that match was to be won. All we know is that Braun got pulled into the water. Bray came up as the Fiend. So I picked a legit match.
Okay.
And I went with Nikki Cross versus Bayley.
Oh, wow.
Now,
okay.
In my personal opinion, both of those women worked their ass off to make that match phenomenal. Granted, the ending wasn't exactly what I would have expected from, but it was still solid enough to hold my attention the whole time. And I really, really, really wanted Nikki Cross to win it. So the fact that Sasha Banks or Bayley won, and I almost threw my fucking beer across the living room, I was,
I don't blame you there, man. That's an interesting choice. I never would have thought you would have went with that.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to give it its moment of respect.
Yeah,
like I was
it's a damn good match.
It was. Now, even though we're not talking about Raw in its entirety because Josh didn't watch Raw,
and
I want to talk about a couple of things that happened on Raw that I'm gonna essentially pitch meeting. Okay. So, second match of the night, well, it was technically the first match of the night, saw Aleister Black taking on Seth Rollins. Now, they do a really good job with this match, and Seth Rollins picks up the win, obviously.
Okay.
But after the match, Buddy Murphy...
Quick question. During all the times that you see him, Seth, does he show any sort of remorse or even PTSD, I guess, almost you could say?
It's funny that you would mention that because I jumped into the match instead of so him and Buddy Murphy come to the ring before the match, and he pretty much blames Rey Mysterio for that match happening and the fans.
Of course.
He's like, I didn't want this match. I didn't want to do that to Rey. Now, no real PTSD, but he showed he was like, I didn't want to do this to Rey. So
okay.
But so here's the thing that interested me. So the match goes down. He wins. They start to walk away. Aleister Black is still in the ring. And they rush back down to the ring and proceed to start double teaming on Aleister Black.
Okay.
Now, the whole time they're double teaming him, Seth is like, no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to help you. And Buddy Murphy proceeds to grab a steel chair. Now, they proceed to target Aleister Black's hand. And at one point they put his hand in the chair and they stop the chair. Are we building towards a hand versus hand match?
Hammurabi's code.
Another thing that I thought was a really interesting thing was we got a backstage segment with the Hurt Business, and it was MVP and Lashley, and they started talking to R-Truth, and they're like, hey, did you see I won the United States Championship last night? And R-Truth is like, nah, man, everybody knows Apollo Crews is still the champ. And he's like, well, how about we add the 24/7 champion to the Hurt Business? And R-Truth is like, no, I'm good. And he's like, maybe you didn't understand what I said. We want to add the 24/7 title. And R-Truth goes to walk away, and bam! Fucking super kick.
Ooh. They
pan over. It's Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah. He
pins him. 1, 2, 3. New 24/7 champion. He stands up. MVP's like, so like I said, are you in? And Shelton Benjamin's like, yeah. So the Hurt Business proceeds to come down to the ring. And I'm essentially going to start calling the Hurt Business Nation of Domination 2.0. Because that's essentially what they're doing with them. Okay. And they haven't fully listed them, even though the Hurt Business sent a tweet out to The Rock offering him to come back.
It's not shocking.
So the Hurt Business pretty much starts talking shit about how they're going to start, beating down people. Apollo Crews was the first one. MVP's the rightful U.S. champ. And out comes Ali, or not Ali, Cedric Alexander and Ricochet. Oh. And they're defending Apollo Crews. And they're like, yeah, we're going to get in there and we're going to shut you up. And he's like, yeah, well, there's 2 of you and there's 3 of us. So pick whichever 2 of us you want and you can have us right now. And he's like, 2, we'll take on all 3 of you because we got ourselves a partner. And he's like, well, it's not Apollo Crews. And MVP's like, and they're like, well, no, we never said it was Apollo Crews. But this guy's going to serve you a slice of humble pie because it's Mustafa Ali. And I was like,
all right.
Eh.
And that's his return.
That's his return.
Okay. And he ain't the SmackDown hacker.
So oddly, I mean, I'm not really going to go over much more of this stuff. I'm going to point out a couple things though I really want to pick on, and not pick on in a bad way, but like, okay. So we got a match where it was Andrew Garza and Andrade with Zelina Vega taking on the Street Profits.
Okay.
So now Andrade and Garza have been teaming up now for a few months. Why are they not uniform yet?
Yeah, I don't know. I hate that.
And I mean, like, if you're going to wrestle together, look uniform. I mean, they have a similar look as it is. I mean, just do it already. Like, and have Garza stop stripping in the ring. It's
You know you secretly love it.
Yeah, sure.
You aspire to it.
I don't know. Those were pretty much the big notes I had. I didn't have anything else I really had to talk about from Raw. The rest of the matches were pretty much mundane. Shit was about as well as expected to be.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Okay, cool. Was there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up this episode of Off the Ropes?
Well, if people want to listen to you besides on Off the Ropes, where can they find you, sir?
Well, they can find me at, as you can see, right there, at JP Raynor on Twitter. That's JPRAYNOR. And, of course, you can always find me on Merc with the Movie Blog. That's at Movie Blog Merc on Twitter and Instagram. Merc with the Movie Blog on Facebook and YouTube. And I have an Anchor. It's anchor.fm/Movie Blog Merc. Do all kinds of shows over there. And always check out my website, mercwithmovieblog.com. I just recently posted a review for a Netflix movie called Only. It's a pandemic film. It's about the right time to watch something like that. So check that out. And if you're into DC Comics, be sure to check out DC Comics News on all the social medias. And of course, Off the Ropes. You love us. You know it. Right there. Leave us a voice message. Anchor.fm/OffTheRopesJJ. We didn't say that at any other point during the show, so we're doing it right now. I'm going to leave that there for the rest of this episode. So be sure to check us out. And on Twitter, Off the Ropes JJ. Leave us all your thoughts, man. All these matches, you can you can leave a voice message about how I'm failing as a wrestling fan not watching Slammiversary or Raw.
I mean, leave us anything. Leave us your thoughts and opinions on the current product. Leave us your thoughts on the Nation of Domination 2.0. Do you like the new United States Championship? What should I have for lunch tomorrow? I mean, these things need to get talked about.
And where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at SimplySaneJ1. I'm still on Facebook at JJohnMade. I mean, I have a podcast. It is called Simply Sane with Jay. It's not your mama's podcast. I should be recording my new episode here soon. To everybody who has listened to my previous
Looking
episodes.
forward to it.
Yeah. I might be having a special guest this week.
Ooh.
It turns out that there's going to be some traveling companionship coming through soon. I'm thinking about having a special guest.
I'm excited to hear whenever that launches.
Yeah, buddy. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I'm John.
I'm Josh. This has been Off the Ropes with John. And as always, we are down to the count.
We'll get that one of these days.
One of these days.
Peace. Deuces.